Hello, hello, Dr. Brett Spradlin, Divine Design Natural Health, and we are at Plant Medicine 103. This is called Emotions, Not Lotions. Is anybody excited?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. So we're going to talk about emotions, not lotions. It's kind of a play on words. We're going to talk about hormones. We're going to talk about, oh, yeah. Oh, no. Oh, no. The pink line is going right across the title there, Jonathan. Oh, no. That's the funniest part of the whole thing. I just refresh. Anyway, Neutrogena, yes. It's a, yeah. Oh, can you see it now? Yeah, go back. Yeah, that's so messed up. It's now with added chemicals. It's number one toxicologist recommended. Yeah, we're making fun. We're making fun. That was Amanda did that. And hair and body, it says, throw away for best results. So that should right there give you a little track on where we're going with this nonsense tonight. Emotions, not lotions. We're going to deal with the endocrinology, the endocrinological system or the endocrine system of the body. That is basically dealing with all your hormones. Women, if you know anybody or if you yourselves have ever been on the following, you might want to pay attention to some of this. Birth control, hormone replacement therapy, troches, creams, lotions, transdermal patches. The list goes on and on and on. I'm going to show you tonight how when we started messing with human hormones, we opened a Pandora's box that has yet to be closed and never will be. So previous WellWorks events that you might want to check out if some of this interests you. If you build it, they won't come. That was dealing with the immune system. Evil parents of autoimmunity. If some of you have people out there, friends, family, sisters, moms, aunts, usually females, that are dealing with autoimmune issues, you might want to dial into our Facebook or YouTube channels for evil parents of autoimmunity. I'm going to show you where all those autoimmune conditions are coming from. You might be surprised. Women, birthing, beauty, and biopsies. We've got a couple different versions of that. We're going to be redoing that class at some point in Q3. But that takes you through the whole progression. First you get babies, you try to look pretty, and then they're biopsying something. Interesting, huh? Darkness to light, exposing the lies, parts 3 and 4 for the ritual that went on last year, 2020. And then part 6, if you want to know what's up with the shots, a little historical perspective on exactly how injectants came into medical being. That's got a lot of stuff in it that you'll never hear anywhere else, I promise. The roots of your pharmakeia healthcare, that right there, you'll never hear in church, but you should. So you might want to check that out if you want to understand really the black magic background of where your healthcare is coming from. And I do mean that. Artificial versus natural, energy medicine 1 through 2. We just did the second one recently, and that's dealing with all the synthetic biology, the genetics, the robotics, the artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, all the things that medicine has ready for you, and it's coming already. Previous WellWorks events. Here are our previous Young Living Essential Oils events. This is a Plant Medicine 103, so we're dealing with oils tonight. Previous Young Living events. Biblical First Aid, parts 1 through 4. That was a 4-part class. We did like an hour and a half of each one of those 4 parts. Royal Oilers 101 and 102, Save Your Life Ahead of Time, essentially rewarding. Plant Medicine 101 and 102, Plant Power for the Next Plague, that was dealing all with your immune system. Believe the Thieves, that's dealing with all the household things that need to go bye-bye and how you use thieves for so many other things. And then tonight is Plant Medicine 103, Emotions, Not Lotions. Like this was your immune system, Plant Medicine 103 will be your endocrine system. You guys ready? All right, let's get loud. Anybody out there? Oh my goodness. There you go. Biblical plant power, ask the plants, speak to the earth. They will teach you. That is in the oldest book in the Bible, pre-written before Genesis, many scholars would say. Ask the plants, speak to the earth. Why do I say that? Because the plants are where we get the oils from. Also in this office, the plants and the animals are where we get all of the supplements, the homeopathic liquids, the naturopathic liquids, the herbal liquids, all of that come from the plants and the animals. So, big overview right here. Here's the bird's eye view. We want to look at the endocrine system because it is delicate, it's very complicated, and it's extremely misunderstood. How many of you can say that? Say, yes, your hormones are extremely misunderstood. It's a crapshoot, needle in a haystack for most people. So it's obvious that hormones can be easily affected by many things. Stress. There are 3 types of stress. What's the one most people refer to 99.9% of the time? Emotional stress. But you've got structural stress too. What would be an example of structural stress? Accident, a car accident, a shark bite, a bullet wound, sprained ankle, right, Andrea? Chemical stress, what would be an example of chemical stress? Chemical stress, like when your car doesn't have enough gas, that's chemical stress. Sorry, I keep just beating you up about it. It's hilarious. Or if you overdose, that would be a toxin, that would be a chemical stress, right? Too many toxins, not enough nutrition. So not enough gas, too many drugs, whatever. Emotional stress, that's, marriage stuff, kids stuff, work stuff, boss things. So stress, huge thing. That can affect your endocrine system. I want you to understand, though, that those are the 3 types of stress. Medications can affect your endocrine system. Big deal. Next, food choices. Once again, the toxicity and the deficiency. So if you've got too many bad things or not enough good things in your diet, right? Next. Sleep, that can affect you in a big way. Genetics, and remember this, medicine always says 2 things. 2 things, only 2 things can cause your problems. What are they? Genes and germs, right? You're seeing it played out in society right now, right? But that is not true. That is not true, as you are seeing. Lifestyle, activity or lack thereof, right? What's another thing that affects the endocrine system? Oh, look at that. Synthetic hormones. Interesting, huh? So once again, your birth control pills, your HRT, your biological injections, things like that. And then personal care products, toxins and chemicals. Who do you think gets more endocrine problems based upon this list? Correct. Absolutely. I'll show you why. Next, please. Harrower's chart. Has anyone in this room heard of Harrower's chart? This is why I love coming to these classes, because I learn so much. Henry Harrower was a 1930s endocrinologist, and he was one of the early pioneering endocrinologists during the first half of the 20th century. You're going to see this chart, and you're going to get it. You're going to learn more about the endocrine system tonight than your endocrinologist or your family practice guy would ever show you. Okay? His work is the foundation of many of today's writings on endocrinology. Now, I want you to see this. This is the simplicity of your endocrine system. This is super easy to see. I want you to see how easy it is. Look at that. So easy. Simple. We just give you estrogen. Or we just give you TSH. Right? Ladies on levothyroxine or Synthroid for 35 years? Anybody out there? Right? How many of you know people who've been on Synthroid for decades? And do they feel better or worse? Worse, but their blood labs look good. Mm-hmm. The numbers are right. Yeah. That's why. So look at this. And your endocrine glands, people don't think, or sometimes they don't know, that your pancreas, your duodenum, which is the first little chunk of your small intestine, they don't know that a lot of these things are made in your gut. I'll show you later on. So if you have an endocrine problem in your body, might you have a gut disorder? You will have a gut disorder. That's what I'm saying. So your pituitary, watch this. Your hypothalamus affects your pituitary. The solid lines are something stimulates it. So in other words, the hypothalamus stimulates the pituitary thereby stimulates the gonads and the mammary glands and the thyroid and the adrenals. Everybody see that? And then, yeah, this is worthy of a picture, because this is all endocrinology textbooks boiled down to one chart, basically. Then the dotted lines are things that organ inhibits. Like the pituitary will inhibit the duodenum, the pituitary will inhibit the pancreas, and vice versa. You can kind of see. So the thyroid, if you just drug the thyroid with one little thing, TSH, or you put Synthroid into your body, what's going to happen to the upstream organs? They're going to take a nap. So if we just drug your body, everything upstream that controls the thyroid is going to go to sleep because it doesn't need to produce anything to stimulate the thyroid. Hello, ladies with brain fog. I'll tell you why right now. Super easy. You're going to get your money's worth tonight. So this is super simple. Remember, super simple. All you got to do is dump some estrogen in their blood. All you got to do is drug them with some TSH. That's it. Okay? So why are hormones so important? Given the current state of society, I wonder. I love this. Came up with this a little while ago. It's proprietary. I'll let you steal it. But you should take a picture of this puppy because people are indoctrinated. Notice I think I changed. Indoctrinated was down here. I put it up here. I put it in order of absolute significance. Yeah. Because I think, sitting in front of the devil vision in your living room for 4, 5, 6 hours a night, I think that might do more than everything else. And it's not going to take effect in the mind control area if you don't have all of these other things in place. So I put that first. Food sedated, glyphosated, irradiated, fluoridated, medicated, vaccinated, cosmeticated. Don't you love that? Now, it's very likely, moving on, why do we cover this? Because, man, you are going to see your hormones are affected by all of this stuff. Next slide, pretty please. It's very likely that your coworkers and family members have differing views, at least in part, due to the list that you just saw. Any chemical ingested or applied to the body has the potential to change human behavior. Any chemical. Effects of the above will lead to medical misdiagnosis and inevitable drugging for life. Families and workplaces now are in current conflict over misunderstood physiology and absolute forged science. Yes, I said it. This is the beginning of a new religion of scientism captivating the very souls of mankind. And the soul, according to the Bible, is your mind, your will, and your emotions, right? So you need to know this. Moving on. People willingly and regularly pay for their own media indoctrination through television, their euthanasia through insurance premiums for access to drugs and surgery, see the above list, and technological surveillance via Alexa, Siri, Apple Watches, etc. I have ruined many a stocking stuffer for many people, and I'm not sorry at all. Because this right here, we walked into a cabin a week ago, there's an Alexa in every cabin throughout Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg. There's an Alexa in every cabin. Why do you need an Alexa in every cabin? And this right here, my mom called me, or I talked to my mom a day or two ago. She said her cable TV bill went up from $50 a month to $98 a month. So she canceled it, of course, and which was a great move. And good job, Mom. I'm proud of you. I know you're watching. But my question was, why were you paying $50 a month? Oh, and when you cancel your TV, all the stuff you have recorded on your DVR apparently goes away too, even though you already paid for that. I didn't quite understand that. But people willingly and regularly pay for this. And you're going to see that most of your friends, your family, your aunts, and even your nieces and your nephews will pay to be euthanized through their insurance premiums. It's sad, but you know what? We're going to explain this to you so that you can have a say in this. And in that regard, we're going to have a commercial break and then some, oh yeah, get that microphone. Commercial break. And yeah, don't walk in front of the camera or anything, Andrea. Good grief. Big old gourd.
I don't have my life.
Sorry, Ryan. She almost took the camera out. Good grief. Commercial break.
You can see why I fell and sprained my ankle. Okay. So this is a relatively new patient. He and his wife started here not that long ago. He said, I have been in many different types of nursing, ER, ICU, OR. I never truly understood pharmacology and how the doctors are trained. Also, how exactly drugs affect the body. And they came to the We Heart You 2 class, which is the heart class we did this February. We Heart You is the one that we did last February, if you want to check that one out as well. But they came to We Heart You 2, and he said, it gave more real, credible information than in all my years of nursing school. My understanding now of physician training makes sense. And again, this is somebody who has been in many different types of nursing, many different fields of it. And I think it's been a couple, if not a few decades. He's been in it for a long time, travel nursing. So he learned more in that one class from February than he has in all of his years of nursing experience.
What does that tell you?
You can too.
You're in the right spot. And, not to pump our own tires or to toot our own horn, but we'll actually tell you the truth. And we're not being paid by pharmaceutical companies to tell you. So, all right, now we got some memes. Remember, say what you meme, meme what you say. So this is what you're told paranoid people look like, and this is what paranoid people actually look like. This does all tie into the emotions thing. CDC now recommends wearing a seatbelt even when you're outside the car. I mean, but people would do it, wouldn't they? If it was on TV. I'm telling you, people would do that. It's scary when the weatherman is the closest one to telling the truth on the news now. Wow, yeah. Isn't that nuts? You might not be able to see this from the back, but graduating events in 2021, we've got prom, rooster tail, I don't know what that means, but fully vaccinated, you can go for free. If you're not vaccinated, it's $80. Isn't that unbelievable? So it's starting. They're starting. Yeah, to my knowledge. Yeah, Southfield High. What did that say? Southfield High? Yeah, Southfield High, Michigan. Southfield, right. Yep, totally. Now, you won't be able to see this, but this is interesting. Choosing safer activities. Unvaccinated people, this is from CDC. We got this today off the CDC website. Unvaccinated people, fully vaccinated people. Here's outdoor, no masks. Here's indoor, masks. So you still have to wear a mask indoors. That's the interesting thing. But over here, the unvaccinated people, notice this. You're not safe, the reds. If you attend a crowded outdoor event, like a live performance, parade, or sports event, watch this. Go to an indoor movie theater, attend a full capacity worship service. Interesting. Isn't that interesting? Worship. And then sing in an indoor chorus. Where do those things happen? Churches, perhaps? Interesting, huh? So the red, you shouldn't do it. The yellow, that's less safe. And the green up here, you're okay. This is what we've come to. Medicine has come to in this country. And people are buying it. People are sucking it up. Except, however, who? The people that come here. Because the people that come here get it. They get it. Thank God. And it could be because, you guys actually are taught something around here. Anything else? I think that's the last one. All right, so getting right into this, all that deep, heavy stuff. Now let's talk about plants. Young Living. Young Living, seed to seal guarantee. What is it? We're just gonna rush right through this. Every product carries a seed to seal standard. They do not create products with toxic chemicals. Nothing's been planted on soil that has had contact with any chemicals within 50 years. The organic standard for a lot of plants and farm stuff is 5 to 7 years. Young Living picks the best seeds from strong, thriving plants. They hand weed and they use their own soils on plants for pest control, their own oils, on plants for pest control to avoid harmful chemicals. Interesting, isn't it? If you've got plants that deter insects, why don't we use the oils of those plants to protect the plants from those insects instead of poisonous chemicals? So Young Living harvests the plants at their peak, so you get the highest quality oil. Young Living distills on site without chemicals, and they test every batch multiple times with state-of-the-art equipment. So just to let you know. Now, we will talk about, I wanted to kind of spell that out because some people may or may not know what Young Living is. So they're a huge oil company. We'll get more into that. We're going to talk about standard process and MediHerb too, because I'm going to give you options for things that you need to know about for hormone and endocrine health. Now, what are hormones? What is endocrine health? What are we talking about? People have a very, very, very bad misunderstanding about what are hormones. I'm going to make it very simple, but here it is. They're chemical messengers. They carry information from one area of the body to another. If you have, like, the second that you put food on your tongue, your brain, your hypothalamus, and your pituitary start to produce chemical messengers called hormones that travel through your blood and get to a certain place to enact on that organ and make that organ do something. Like, for instance, if you put food on your tongue, your brain will secrete a hormone that will tell your stomach to start making digestive enzymes. So it's a way of passing a message, a slow message from point A to point B. A way of doing a fast message would be nervous system transmission. So the endocrine thing can be fast, but in most cases it's a lot slower than just transferring nervous system, hot stove type stuff. Next. They regulate metabolism, growth, sexual development, tissue function, reproduction, sleep, mood, blood pressure, you name it, and everything is regulated by your hormones without you having to think about it. Hormones affect every single cell in your body, telling us when to wake up and sleep. There's drugs for those, right? When to eat and stop, there's drugs for those. How to react to stress, joy, fear, there's drugs for those. See what I mean? They tell your body when to replace cells or to let them fade away, right? Many people consult Dr. Google to find out their hormones, to figure out their hormones. This can be catastrophic and debilitating. Do not be mistaken. It is purposefully meant to be so. Do not be mistaken. Headaches, sleep issues, weight gain, mood problems, infertility, decreased libido, even musculoskeletal conditions can be misdiagnosed as chemical, and you've heard this a million times, chemical or hormonal imbalances resulting in drugging for life. You've heard me talk about chemical imbalance has never been proven. In many other classes, you'll never see a chemical imbalance proven on an MRI, a CAT scan, a blood lab, or any other test. And here's the deal. You can't really prove a hormonal imbalance either, because you take an instantly obsolete snapshot of someone's blood with the hormones that we know how to test for, and 40, 50 minutes later, a day later, 2 weeks later, the ones that were out will be in and the ones that were in will be out. So there's no real way to test for these either. We'll talk about that later. I know some of you are going, what about my blood labs? We'll talk about that. So if chemical imbalances don't exist, what about hormonal imbalances? What's actually causing the hormonal imbalances? Remember that list at the very beginning? Right. Okay. So medicine is treating the symptoms of starvation with chemical poisons. Interesting, huh? That was Dr. Royal Lee. Who was Royal Lee? Founder of Standard Process. And back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, he was figuring this out when he had just seen refined processed food start taking over the American diet. And by the way, what did he do for a living? He was a dentist. So he saw it on the horizon. Some hormones to know, of course, everybody knows. Estrogen kind of feminizes the body, maintains skin, vessels, bone, memory. Progesterone, big thing there, helps fertilize the egg attached to uterus, right? And then testosterone masculinizes the body. And we'll talk more about that in a little while. Many xenoestrogens, which means xeno means foreign, estrogen means estrogen. So many foreign estrogens, or estrogen mimicking compounds, are in food additives, insecticides, herbicides, plastic shampoos, cosmetics, detergents, and the linings of food and drink containers. They are often fed to the animals we eat, right? And you'll notice that in society. You'll notice that there's an attack on testosterone and there's an overestrogenation of the entire population. And you'll see the effects. We'll talk more about that in a minute. We usually only associate hormones with stages in our lives like puberty, pregnancy, and menopause. But understand, hormones impact us minute by minute, influencing the health of our bodies and emotions every minute of every hour of every day, all the time. You could not exist without hormones right now. Next. Oh, and before we get into this thing, notice this, and I'll drop a little nugget on you. Toxic feminine products are a huge thing. So you want to know where your cysts and your fibroids, I don't know if I've ever told an entire class this. I usually have this talk privately. But I thought, we should drop this in the endocrine class more than anything. Your toxic feminine hygiene products, ladies, they're bleached, white bleached, Cloroxed, genetically modified cotton that's going to live in your body for how many days, out of how many months, out of how many years. You got to do your research and figure out which ones of those are not cancer causing or fibroid or cyst causing. You get what I'm saying? Your OBGYN ain't going to tell you this. You just got your money's worth. So don't trust. There are certain companies we can tell you which companies to trust, which ones not to. There's a bunch of bad stuff out there. But also the thing that you need to know too, ladies, hair dyes, manicures, pedicures. Those are huge. Endocrine anatomy. Your endocrine system consists of all the glands in your body that make hormones. Here's a small list. Hypothalamus, pituitary, thyroid, parathyroid on the back of the thyroid. Pineal, right here, middle of your head, middle of your brain. Adrenals, breasts, pancreas, stomach, ovaries, testicles, liver, prostate, placenta, all of this stuff. Every tissue in your body practically, okay? Hormones regulate how other organs operate by being secreted into the bloodstream after they are produced. We talked about that. It goes from point A to point B and elicits a response at point B, right? And then your body is constantly keeping your system in balance. A term you may have heard, homeostasis. Without any conscious awareness on your part, this was no accident of nature. How do I know? I'll show you. Check this out. This is just a small list. So hypothalamus, pineal gland, pituitary gland, thyroid, parathyroid. These are all the organs with the hormones that those organs secrete. Just a short list. Notice all the stuff that your stomach secretes. Gastrin, ghrelin, histamine, somatostatin, and neuropeptide Y. Histamine. Why do I draw attention to that? When you take an antihistamine, what are you turning off? You're messing with your hormones. You're messing with your gut, right? Interesting, huh? Antihistamine. People don't know histamine is actually a hormone. You're shutting off, you're messing with your hormones every time you take an allergy drug. Interesting, right? T3, T4, those are the things that, your Armour thyroid, people say, oh, I've been on Armour thyroid for 20 years. T3, T4, That's something we can talk about here in a little while. Look at this. Your adrenal glands, adrenaline gets its name from your adrenal glands, right? Your adrenals are right on top of your kidneys. Adrenaline, or what some people call epinephrine, or noradrenaline, which is also named norepinephrine, right? When people take epi shots, EpiPens, epinephrine, that's what they're doing. It's a synthetically derived adrenaline that you're using to shut off an allergic reaction, anaphylactic shock. So all of these. Some of your heart meds are going to work on the somatostatin and the vasopressin. Some of your beta blockers and your calcium channel blockers are going to work on some of these hormones to shut off their effects. We don't want to spend too much time on this, and I don't want to confuse you. But this right here, you mess with one hormone, guess what you just did? You mess with all of them. So that's why so many women with hormone replacement therapy, they're going to have liver problems, kidney problems, and stomach problems. Their digestion is going to go into the toilet. And you know people like this. I know you do. Short little list here, hypothalamus. Let's go to the next slide. Oh, wait a minute. I'm skipping a commercial break. Wait, Andrea, we got a commercial break right here. I skip right over it. There we go.
Appreciate that.
Yay. Sorry.
I'm just kidding. So this is also from a relatively new patient that's been here 3 or 4 months. And she says, my son referred me here as Dr. Spradlin had successfully helped him. I had lower back pains, which often caused me to do back squats and bend forward. You know, so if you find yourself having to move around a lot, you know, to keep your back comfortable, that's what she's talking about. She said, I had to do that for relief when taking short walks. I also had other health concerns. And she said, my husband and I are very pleased that this issue has gone away, and many other issues, including varicose veins, arthritis, and weight concerns, are now dramatically reduced too. Feeling better is a wonderful blessing. Wow. So you can come in for, you know, one thing, thinking the other stuff is just normal or part of getting old, or, you know, I live in the South, I can't get rid of my allergies. You know, you can come in for one thing and just think the other stuff is normal or, you know, part of life or, you know, whatever. And it doesn't have to be that way.
It doesn't have to be that way. Totally.
Sure doesn't.
Thank you, darling. I don't know how many times people come here and they, oh, my seasonal allergies. That's what
Probably
you
more like your seasonal fast food.
Yeah, it's more like your seasonal Chick-fil-A. Let's talk about that. And let's fix it. Seasonal allergies, you don't have to have them. It's not the pollen. I promise you, it's not the pollen. So she's against meat because animals are fed on natural hormones, but she takes artificial hormones every day to avoid pregnancy. Yeah. Interesting, right? Happens every day. Hundreds and hundreds, well, I should say millions, hundreds of millions, literally, of women have been on birth control pills for decades. 2021 is the year the world was made to believe that trusting your immune system makes you a conspiracy theorist while taking an experimental gene therapy makes you normal. God, if it wasn't so tragic, you couldn't even make that up. Is wearing a mask making you feel tired and sick? Ask your doctor if air is right for you. Bubble wrap. That's genius. I love that. Next. Oh, yes. Yeah. Don't shed on me. Do not shed on me. That's good. You yeah, it's a syringe. Yep. Interesting, huh? Don't call me an anti-vaxxer, dear. The name's Mrs. Doubtfire. Makes me want to go watch that movie one more time. All right. So, yeah, I couldn't tell you enough about allergies and all the things that people just think is part of life, part of getting old, part of falling apart, part of just living, and it's all crap. They've been indoctrinated to think it's not the pollen, because when allergy season's done, what season is it? Flu season. When flu season is done, what season is it? Allergies. When allergy season's done, what season is it? It's always a flu allergy. Oh yeah, and now COVID's a year-round season, of course. So just think about what you've been told and think, what if that wasn't really the case? Just like everything you're going to learn here tonight. Quick little trip through the endocrine system. I just want to cover 3 of those organs just so you understand the massive importance. The hypothalamus and the thyroid and the adrenals, part of what people call the HPA axis, or the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. You're hearing a lot of that now. We're going to cover most of that right here. So just the hypothalamus. It receives chemical signals through the blood and electrical signals from the nervous system. So this is like the grand central station of everything. It regulates the entire neurological system and endocrine system. We call it the neuroendocrine system, keeping track of concentrations of hormones in the blood. It gives orders to the pituitary, it's right above the pituitary, which in turn releases hormones that signal other downstream glands. It tells the kidneys to hold or release water. It tells the adrenal glands to release hormones for energy, like adrenaline, and it determines when you eat and sleep. If your pituitary is damaged, because remember it goes hypothalamus, pituitary, you are too. These are changes that you will see if your pituitary is messed up. Blood pressure, lactation, water regulation, temperature regulation, poor memory, adrenal problems, weight issues. No test on your blood lab tests for hypothalamus. No test on your blood labs test for pituitary. There are ways to test for T3 and T4, in which case they can find something that's high or low. Now we can drug it. You can test for estrogen and testosterone and progesterone. Now we can drug it. But you can't test for this. So what do? Drug it. Next. Thyroid. Receives signals from the pituitary gland to regulate metabolism. So what runs the thyroid? Hypothalamus. Right, because the hypothalamus, wow, you're paying attention back there, Jonathan. He's not just back there counting his parasites, he's paying attention this week. So the hypothalamus controls the pituitary controls the thyroid. So the least of your problems is your level of T3 and T4 in your blood, period. Mic drop. Next. According to medicine, it seems that this is the only possible reason any woman could ever be sick. How do I know? Because every woman that comes in here says 3 words. It's my thyroid. Well, how do you know? You know so much about thyroid physiology. Explain to me your endocrine system. Why is it your thyroid? Nobody knows. It's just their thyroid. Amen or amen? Amen. A women on that one. Next. Adrenals. So I hate to say it kind of smart-alecky like that, like that's to medicine, that's the only way, because no other organ matters, because we have a test for T3, T4. See, we don't have a test for pituitary and hypothalamus. Adrenals, the most well-known glands in the endocrine system due to connection with energy and the stress hormone, adrenaline, right? And after and they affect blood pressure, sweating, produce sex hormones, all the stuff. So here's a little sneak peek on some oils and organs to get into the oil side of things. If you want to help your pituitary out, sacred frankincense is fabulous. If you want to help out your thyroid, think myrtle, think lemongrass, think frankincense, think myrrh. If you want to help out your adrenals, think nutmeg and clove. And if you want to help out your whole body, think sclerescence or endoflex. Endoflex, for the longest time, I thought was, elbows and knees. Flex. I thought it was a musculoskeletal thing. No, it's endo. It's right in the name, endocrine. Took me a while. Now, to review. Does everybody have this down now? It's very simple, right? We just got to give you a patch or a troche or a lozenge that dissolves and boosts something up and boosts something down, and you'll feel better for a short amount of time, but then what's going to happen later? You're going to crash, in which case we do what? Up your dosage. You guys already went to medical school. How do you know this? How do you know this? But when you look at something this complex, it absolutely destroys the idea that you are an accident, a bag of chemicals where lightning hit a mud puddle 4.6 billion years ago, and you accidentally crawled out of the soup, right? It destroys that idea, but it also destroys the idea that you can just effectively change someone's health just by giving them a man-made synthetic hormone. Or another lie that you've been told, bioidentical, which we'll get into. So does this now completely give you an awesome understanding of how completely complex and divinely designed you guys are? Whew, I tell you. All right. Now, think about this for a minute, too. Go back to the gut. So many of your hormones are made in your gut here. So without good gut function, like what we talked about, you will not have good hormone function. So if you eat crap food and you continue to take your estrogen and you eat crap food and continue to take your synthroid, what are you really doing? You're poisoning yourself with the drugs, and you're poisoning yourself with the food. And you will never have proper hormone function, and the dosages will keep going up, and you will wonder where the brain fog is coming from. Okay? All the HRT in the world will not fix your breakfast, lunch, or dinner. 21 meals a week of you poisoning yourself. All the HRT in the world won't fix it. So your body gives you clear signals when hormones are affected. It's a fun little game. Just click through all these, Jonathan. mood swings, anxiety, depression, irritability, water retention, bloating, digestion problems, breast tenderness, tumors, fatigue, being slow to rise, insomnia, anything. Just click right through them. Anything can be labeled as, clear signals when your hormones are affected, right? Many of these symptoms will be medically diagnosed as a very distinct disease process that can then be assigned an ICD-9 or 10 code for your insurance, right? Now, known health risks of hormone replacement. Y'all wanted a picture of that? Well, just take a picture of this one. It's the same slide. Check this out. Known health risks of hormone replacement therapy include the same crap. It's the same thing, just in a different order. I jumbled it up to see if anybody would notice. It's the same stuff. Breast cancer, tenderness. Yeah, so known health risks of hormone replacement therapy are exactly the signals your body gives you when your hormones are screwed up. So, are there any similarities between those lists? Here's the first one. Are there any similarities? So the main goal should be in supporting the endocrine system rather than just replacing whatever hormones a doctor can find on a blood lab. That should be the goal. Commercial break. Miss Andrea, come on up.
I've got another good one. So this is another relatively new patient. This is the wife of the first testimony I read. She says, we have been coming since April 21. We love how we feel, so sharing with our daughter and son-in-law and 3 grandchildren. Even though they don't come here yet, we purchased the Core 4 for the kids, and the food change at home has started the fabulous way to health for them. They are sleeping better and behaving better. My daughter has noticed a change when a non-approved food is eaten. We are so excited for them getting healthy at ages 3 and 4. And I can attest that my kids are relatively the same age, and it's not, an overnight change for them. They'll pitch a fit or two about it, but it's totally possible, and they'll be much better for it, and they're not even going to remember, the garbage that they were eating before. And then they'll start going through the grocery store, pointing out other people's stuff, saying, "Mommy, that's not healthy." My kids do that. It's really awesome.
Andrea is the most popular
I have to tell
woman
you,
at the grocery store.
I have to say, it is possible. No, but it is possible for your kids to get it down and to be excited about it. Well, I had a proud mom moment, similar with my kids are the same age. We were out of town a couple weeks ago, and they saw McDonald's chicken nuggets, which I grew up on. I loved them. But my kids said, "What are those?" And I was like, my kids don't know what a McDonald's chicken nugget is.
Wow, no way.
Yeah. So I felt pretty good about myself.
You are doing something right with your life. Finally.
That, if nothing else.
Wow. Yeah, I sucked down my fair share of chicken nuggets back in the day. I'll tell you that. Yeah, I think we all did, right? All right. Mean what you say what you mean. Very important. This could be us, but you still insist on living in fear. Not a big laugh on that one? No? Okay. Here you go. When you think injecting cattle with hormones is evil, but injecting kids with hormones to change their gender is just fine. And that's where we're going with this. Just keep your britches on. Me waiting for the common sense variant to spread. Just sitting there. And see, what we're talking about, who killed Goliath? Of course. Yep. But see, people who are indoctrinated, and the big list that we talked about before, they think you're crazy for not wanting to poison yourself. Yeah. Interesting, huh? Careful. Rona might be lurking.
Oh, my God.
Walking through a forest. See what I mean? But see, this would not happen unless that television told them to do so. Interesting. That would not be happening if it was not televised for you to wear a mask on your face. All right. Indoctrination, yeah. Hormones and emotions. Let's roll through this. The hypothalamus is the main part of the limbic system. You got to get this. Limbic system is the center of the brain. Think emotions, think memory, okay? That responds to emotional stimuli to regulate the endocrine system. The hypothalamus directly connects to the olfactory nerve, the sense of smell. So what you smell passes directly to the brain without interruption. Okay? Scents held below the nose show up in the hypothalamus immediately. This is how oils work for emotions and how they therefore affect hormones. Endocrine signals from the hypothalamus can relay emotions to a specific organ. So what does that mean? Well, first of all, you need to understand smell is a very, very, very powerful sense. Okay? We'll get there in a minute, and I'll give you a demonstration. It's also the only place in the body that goes directly to your brain instantaneously. And it's the only place in the body also, here's another little side note, getting off the topic, it doesn't go contralateral, it goes ipsilateral. So the right side of your olfactory nerve goes to the right side of your brain, left side of your olfactory goes to the left side of your brain. Everything else in your body, sense stuff, is crosses, it's contralateral. Very interesting when you figure that they're shoving swabs up your nose. Interesting. So if that's the fastest way to your brain, that should tell you something. Just food for thought. Now here's organs and emotions. So talking about how you smell something and your hypothalamus can send a signal to your organs, here's what I mean. Anyone who does what we do, who works in natural health care, for centuries, thousands of years, the Chinese noticed this, okay? Kidneys, if people suffered a lot of fear, anger, or revenge, their kidneys would go bad. You will think, when we go through this chart here, you will think of people that plug into this. Yeah. Liver and gallbladder, anger, rage, unforgiveness. Lungs, grief, despair. Someone who has grieved for a long time, they get lung problems. This is very common. Pancreas, sadness. You get pancreas problems, from a lot of sadness. Heart problems from a lack of joy. I mean, this is all biblical. I could put up scriptures on how this is all biblical, right? And stomach stress. Now, the emotion primer, this is the real kicker that I want you to get. Now, think about this for a minute before we get into this. Actually, Jonathan, here's the thing. I'll mention a word, and you tell me what is the first thing that comes to mind. And think of breathing this in, and think of what comes to mind. And this is your limbic system. Mothballs. See? They reacted. What do you think of?
My sinuses.
Mothballs. Anyone?
Clothing.
Huh?
Smelly old lady clothes.
Smell. Anyone's house? Anyone's dresser?
House.
Yeah.
There you are. Or a musty attic. How about this? Gasoline. What reaction happens when you think gasoline?
My lungs usually want to shut off and stuff.
Think gasoline. Think the smell of cut grass. What comes back to you? What is it? What's the first thing? What's the first thing you think of? How about this? The smell of blood. You can have an emotional reaction to that. Or you can have a memory and you go, oh yeah, that one time I fell down and smashed my face on the steps. How about roadkill? Take a big giant sniff of roadkill. You're having an emotional reaction right now. She just made a face. See, this is how sense control your emotions, and thereby can control and add to or take away from your organs. So here's the emotional primer. This is what I want you to get. This is one of the major points. The average Chicago Tribune Sunday newspaper contains more content than what a person in the 1800s would experience in a 100-year lifetime. That paper, however, is significantly smaller than the amount of data that you or your kids access in a week on social media platforms and news outlets. We're inundated with info. There's an emotional reaction to each headline. People don't read paragraphs anymore. They read the headlines. Your body builds emotional responses to what you see, read, hear, and experience. Stored responses can repeat again and again as cells duplicate and copy bad information. It's a whole lot of science boiled down to a short couple of paragraphs. Next. One single molecule of essential oil can contain hundreds of constituents. What chemists and what people who've studied organic chemistry would call these groups, subgroups of aldehydes and esters that access and balance our physiology. Why is this important? Well, these molecules helped the plants process what? Stress, like weathering of storms, microorganisms, like bacteria and fungus, wind, flooding, droughts, insects. So here's the key. God created them. You should harness them. These little constituents that we've figured out our little chemical subgroups within a big long chain of molecules of essential oils like aldehydes and esters will help the plant recover or to defend itself against things like this. So why should we not use them? This is huge. So just real quick, we're going to run through some female hormone support oils, some male hormone support oils, singles and blends, and then there's another couple points we want to make, and then we'll get out of here. Female hormone support oils. Ladies, these are big. Pregnant women and non-pregnant women alike. Clary sage promotes hormone regulation, reproductive function. They call this one lady libido. Emotions, mood swings, cognitive function, cramping, sore muscles. What we're talking about is reprogramming some of your hormonal pathways and some of your DNA. That's what we're talking. Oils have the frequency and the wavelength and the ability to do that. Next, fennel provides overall support for all glands. That's good, male and female. And none of these are just specifically female. These are just the top ones that I've put together. Sage, maintain balances of estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. That's good for male too. Ylang ylang, personally, this is one of my favorite oils right here. Ylang ylang. Supports adrenal glands, helps balance male and female emotions, nourishes self-esteem, confidence, and awareness. Why are the adrenal glands so important? What organ in your body besides your heart would be the most stressed right about this time of what's happening in society? What organ would need help more than anything else? What organs are being taxed? We just talked about what organs are secreting adrenaline. Your adrenal glands, right? Because what is every headline, what is every show, what's everybody talking about? Fear, 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 fear. If you watch that crap all day long, you are going to be in a state of stress. People come to me, I'm stressed out. How much TV do you watch? I've got anxiety, depression. How much TV do you watch? It's a very simple thing. Next. So these are the blends. So these are the big blends for female hormone stuff. Dragon Thyme supports stability and calmness. It contains some of the stuff we just talked about: fennel, clary sage, marjoram, lavender, yarrow, jasmine. So if you can get some blends that contain some of these other singles, you'll be knocking a few things down with one stone. Endoflex supports the entire endocrine system, contains geranium, spearmint, sage, myrtle, see? A couple of these things we've already mentioned. And nutmeg, German chamomile. Lady Sclereol enhances feminine nature and relaxation, contains jasmine, bergamot, geranium, orange, many more singles. A bunch of stuff in there. Didn't have all the time to list them. Sclerescence manages stress. It's a natural romance enhancer, ladies. Contains clary sage, peppermint, Spanish sage, fennel. So these are just some ideas. For some of you, this might be some of the first time you're hearing some of these words or these plants or these names of some of these blends. That's okay. We all had to learn. We all had to start somewhere. Male hormone support oils. Yes, males, you do have hormones. Dorado Azul. This was interesting. I did not know this. Until 2006, this was a weed. Until Gary Young analyzed, distilled, and named it. It complements all the other oils mentioned below, of which we've got goldenrod, promotes circulation. It says it right in the name. Guys, if you get that. Ylang ylang. I mean, it says it right in the name. That's how it got its name. Supports adrenal glands, helps balance male and female emotions, and nourishes self-esteem, confidence, and awareness. Ylang ylang, one of my favorites, personally. Then, Mister, it helps decongest the prostate and promotes greater male hormonal balance. Contains sage, fennel, lavender, myrtle, yarrow, and peppermint. Guys, you are not immune to the testing shenanigans, what I'm talking about, because the prostate. What does everybody judge their prostate health off of? 3 letters. Just PSA. There you go. So everybody's like, well, my prostate numbers are low. I'm good. Well, how many times do you pee at night? 47? Oh, okay. All right. Well, we might want to check this. Because if we're just going off of a PSA, it is amazing what they'll do to a prostate to burn it, to cut it, and to smash it out. They'll actually insert a tube. Take this, guys. Every guy in the room, take this. Insert a tube. There's this new surgery. It's brand new. As of a couple of years ago, I learned about it. They put a tube up your, and then they shoot hot steam into your prostate to kill the bad cells. Yeah, sounds good, right? Mm-hmm. as I'm shuddering. Shutran, specifically designed for men to boost masculinity and confidence, contains Idaho blue spruce, ylang ylang, ocotillo, hinoki, divana, cedarwood, lavender, coriander, lemon, northern lights black spruce. Guys, if you want to pick up the ladies, Shutran, that's the way to do it, right there. All right, next. So supplements you need to know about, standard process whole food supplements. Here, what I'm talking about is I wanted to kind of put this together for our Young Living crew and for the future. These will be shown to and sent to everyone so that they understand the importance of emotions and not lotions. But I also wanted to say, draw the parallel between standard process and what Royal Lee did 90 years ago for whole food supplements is exactly what Gary Young did for oils 35 years ago. So they're kind of, almost like distant, brother from another mother type companies where the actual philosophy is very similar. So these are some supplements that you might need to know. Standard process, there are two things that no other company can do. If you see these words here with X's at the end, hypothalamex, livoplex, neuroplex, ovex, paraplex, if you see those, what that means is it's a cytosol extract. And for those of you who don't have a massive science background, the cytosol is the stuff that's within the cell. So if you were to split open, take the hypothalamus bovine source from cattle, crack open the hypothalamus cells, they have a process of cracking open the cells and getting the cytoplasm out of the cell. So it contains all the organelles within that tissue's cells. That's one thing they do that no one else can do. The other thing they do that no one else can do is something we'll see here in a minute called protomorphogens, PMG for short. And if you see that word, just think DNA for now, for simplicity's sake. When you see PMG, just think DNA. So like if you see a, dermatrophin would be skin, dermatrophin PMG, DNA of skin cells. Think of that. But here, CalMa plus, calcium, magnesium, cataplex B, cataplex C, hypothalamus. What organ would that rebuild? What organ would that gently stimulate? Hypothalamus, right? So when you look at the ingredients of what that is, you will see exactly what it is. It's the cytosol extract of the hypothalamus, a bovine source. And I think we're just going to go to the next one. Yeah, so like right here is adrenaline. Adrenaline, what organ do you think this supports? Say it louder. Adrenals, exactly. See, this is happy candy to a lot of people because when you start supporting somebody's adrenals, all of a sudden their immune system comes up. Why? Because when you're stressed, when your adrenals are taxed, you hear all these words thrown around as like adrenal insufficiency, and you'll hear all these internet gurus talk about how this patient came to me and her adrenals were shot. Well, what they mean is her adrenals were taxed. She was stressed out. That's all it means. So when you're stressed, is your body fighting off infection? No. So if you support the adrenal glands with Drenamin, like if you can read this, calcium lactate, these are other supplements, rice bran, bovine liver, bovine adrenal PMG extract, then you've got organic alfalfa and a bunch of other stuff, bovine bone, organic shiitake mushroom powder, you've got veal bone PMG, you've got multiple other tissues that are no longer found in your diet. Sounds gross, I get it, because you would normally, I don't like liver, I don't like adrenal, I don't like stomach, I don't like this and that, I get it, but that's just because you grew up not having it. And 100 years ago, or Royal Lee, a dentist who designed those little drills that you hate so much, same guy, he was a genius, he was the titan of nutritional science and research. But 100 years ago, he saw that was passing out of the food supply. So he said, well, we can capsulize it and tabletize it and maybe save a few million lives. Because it's going to go bye-bye and no one will ever eat it again because it'll be a whole generation will grow up and think it's gross because it won't be in the food locker over at Walmart. Next. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Simplex F, Simplex M, there is no confusion about those two letters in this office, by the way. I'll just tell you straight up. You're not convincing me. You're not changing the fact that you either got something between your legs or you don't. And the doctor that signed your birth certificate was not blind, and your decisions do not change the facts. Your emotions do not change the facts of physiology. So with women, check this out. Remember that hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal axis that we were talking about, pathway? Look at this. So simplex F, ladies, what do we got? We have ovary, we have adrenal, we have pituitary, and we have thyroid. Now check this out. We've got adrenal, pituitary, thyroid, same thing, and orchic. Orchic is just bovine testicle. Rocky Mountain oysters, as they call them down here. So female, male. So if you do this, males, if you do this, you are supporting your pituitary, your thyroid, your adrenal, and your testicles, all in one supplement. Find that somewhere else. You know what I mean? And ladies, same thing here. You're just swap out the testicles for the ovaries. Hold the testicles. We'll take a double up on the ovaries. Oh, tough crowd tonight. Okay. So now, supplements you need to know about. More supplements you need to know about. 22 protomorphogen products for organ-specific support. This is why we get such great results. Part of the reason why we get such great results with people, because we have the PMGs. No other company does this, and we use them extensively to rebuild organs in your body and to gently stimulate them. And this also answers the question. When people come to me and they're 60 years old and they have been deteriorating for 60 years, they're missing a gallbladder, an appendix, a uterus, and 2 ovaries, and part of their thyroid. And they're on 4 medications, and they eat crap food. We will put them on a program, and we will get them miraculously better in 90 days. Their symptoms will be 50 to 90% better, yes? In 90 days, they will be 50 to 90% better. 90% of their program, 90% of their problems will be completely gone in about 90 days. How? Well, because I put up with questions like this. Well, I got to take so many pills. First of all, they're not pills. And secondly, how many, it's food. How many of these things are you actually eating? Or I'll hear, how many of those things are you actually eating? How many of these have you eaten for the last 60 years? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, right? So you have to rebuild these organs the way that people have done it for 6,000 years, right? They have dropped a buffalo on the open plains. They ate the eyes, the pancreas, the stomach, whatever people needed in the tribe. You got this, you got this, you got this, whatever you needed. And they would do that time and time again, and your body got smarter and smarter and better. We're getting sicker, and we're living crappier lives in this world. Even though, who lived longer? People thousands of years ago or us now? Thousands of years ago. So we're deteriorating, right? But science is telling you your lifespan's getting longer because we can keep you on a ventilator and you can poo yourself and not know who you are and live in a nursing home for 12 years past the time when you last recognized anyone. So yeah, you're 75, okay, whatever. Heart, skin, adrenal, liver, hypothalamus, breast, muscle, nerve, eye, testicle, bone. Everybody get that? Ovary, pancreas, parotid gland, one of the most overlooked and misunderstood glands, parotid gland, pituitrophin, pituitary, lung, prostate, kidney, spleen, thymus, the least understood and appreciated gland, thyroid, and uterus. So if you have something that can rebuild a uterus and someone's looking to avoid a surgery to get that organ ripped out because the fibroids and cysts and all this, if you remove what's causing the fibroids and cysts and then you rebuild the tissue, guess what happens? You just saved them a, I don't know, $20, $30, $40, $50, $60,000 surgery, a bunch of rehab time, a bunch of missed work, and probably a whole lifetime of hormone replacement therapy after this. Get what I'm saying? So how many organs do you have? You know, why so many pills? Why so many pills? How many organs do you have? You know, you can't just put them all into one pill. You can't put them all into one supplement. How many fluids does your car have? Yeah, really. Right? So think of it this way. Oils are the same way. Supplements, same way. Well, you should have a large tool chest. You should have a large bag of tools to use. That's what we do here. Supplements you need to know, this is the MediHerb. MediHerb is kind of a sister company to Standard Process. That's the herbal tablets, the capsules, the liquids. Many of them also contain essential oils, such as, we're going to look at Bacopa and Herbovital. Go ahead. Oh, there we go. So if you look at Bacopa, it's got a few things in it. The whole plant, Bacopa. It's got Schisandra fruit, 6-to-1 extract. Eleuthero root, which is something very awesome for hormonal help. And rosemary, essential oil. Interesting. Next, and we'll look at Herbal Vital. It's personally my favorite right here. Oh no. Uh-oh. Oh no. Well, let me know when you got that going. So Herbal Vital is something I take every day, and that is like a combination product of 4 or 5, 6 different things. Now, I will say this. While Jonathan's getting that up and going, I'll talk about frequently asked questions that I get about what your doctors use. First of all, natural thyroid. Well, I'm on Armor. I'm on Nature Throid. Just let me know when you got that. Here's the answer to that. That's a porcine T4 and T3 in a 4-to-1 ratio, both of those. So porcine just means pig, so that's a pig source, and that's T4 and T3 in a 4-to-1 ratio. They are derived from conventionally raised pigs whose thyroid is dried, ground, made into tablets, very similar to what standard process does. But it's worked for some, but empirically, practitioners have reported increasing numbers of cases where antibodies in patients taking that thyroid are elevated, indicating a worsening of symptoms of like Hashimoto's and Graves' disease and things like that, when their hypothyroidism was never due to autoimmune disease. So this has necessitated repetitive increases in dosage to maintain treatment. What's that saying? It's saying it worked for a little bit, and then it got worse, and then it got worse, and so we had to increase the dose. Boom, boom, boom. In addition, pork is appearing more frequently as food sensitivity tests of patients taking porcine thyroid. As with other food sensitivities, researchers believe this is happening because of the exposure of genetically modified organisms, pesticides and herbicides, along with high levels of antibiotics and other drugs found in the thyroid glands of these conventionally raised pigs. There's my answer on Nature Throid and Armor Thyroid. Oh, and there's Bacopa. One forward, let's look at Herbal Vital. Just let me know when you're there. Technical difficulties, no problem. Synthroid we'll come back to. Well, we're there here in a minute with Synthroid. Hormone replacement therapy, HRT or BHRT, which is bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. That's lozenges, capsules, tablets, creams and lotions to access the bloodstream without destroying the liver, as with oral medications. The reasons people do hormone patches and creams, troches and lotions, things like that, is because they know that those hormones ingested into your digestive system mess up your liver and your gallbladder. So your gallbladder will get stones, your liver will have problems, you'll have gallbladder problems. So what they did years ago was they figured out a way, let's do a transdermal patch, and let's do something that absorbs into the skin, into the bloodstream, to make it past what's called the first pass of liver digestion. So that way, you can still get the hormones into people, but it's not wrecking their liver and wrecking their gallbladder. It'll eventually get there, but it's just not in the dosages that you would normally have done into the digestive tract. Does that make sense? It's still poisoning you, but we're doing it in a lesser dose. Now, Herbal Vital is like 5 or 6 things in here. Japanese knotweed, milk thistle, Korean ginseng, grapeseed, and a 120-to-1 extract. So that's huge. And then ginkgo leaf and a 50-to-1 extract. So you can see that the baddest herbal company on the planet puts 5 things in there. Herbal Vital. This is kind of a male and female hormonal support thing. I take this every day. Very good. Now, let's fast forward to where we were, next slide for me. Good job getting that together, Jonathan. I don't know what happened right there. The electronics are going against you, but thank you. So here's the Armor Thyroid thing. T4 and T3 in a 4-to-1 ratio. We can just go to the next one. Synthroid, I want you to see this. Facts about what your doctors use. Synthroid, right from the website. How Synthroid works. When you have hypothyroidism, your thyroid isn't able to make enough thyroid hormone. As a result, your body's system slows down. Synthroid is a prescription medicine that helps, this is right from the website, right from the homepage, that helps restore thyroid levels by replacing the amount of thyroxine that your body is missing. The active ingredient in Synthroid is levothyroxine, sodium, a man-made hormone that works in the same way as thyroxine. we'll talk about bioidentical hormones here in a minute, but just let that sink in. A man-made hormone that works in the same way as thyroxine. Levothyroxine, thyroxine, they're a totally different molecule. We won't get into it right now, but it's a prescription medicine that restores thyroid levels, enough thyroid hormone. So you're taking something that is eventually going to the pituitary ahead of your thyroid is going to see this hormone, and it's going to go, well, we already made enough of that. We don't need to make any more. So everything upstream is going to go to sleep. It's going to take a nap. Now you're going to be in a bigger mess than you were before, because now that organ is going to go, oh, well, shoot, we don't have to make anything more. That's right from the website. Let's look at hormone replacement therapy, lozenges, capsules, tablets, creams and lotions, access the bloodstream without what we just talked about. Troches. Here, we bypass the liver due to first pass damage, what we call, and go directly into the bloodstream where it will eventually encounter the liver anyway. That's what I was just saying. They are designed to melt at 98.6 degrees. Compounding chemists use aspartame. How do I know? Next picture. Polyethylene. So troches are made from two different types of bases. I'm not making this up. This is right from a compounding pharmacist website. It took me 40 seconds to find this online. Polyethylene glycol, PEG bases, hard troches are well known to cause allergic and chemical sensitivity reactions and can cause the buccal mucosa in the cheek and gums to become inflamed. PEG base is not recommended for patients with chemical sensitivities. Wait, who doesn't have a chemical sensitivity? Everyone, right? If we sprayed Drano in your face, you would have a chemical sensitivity. And what are all drugs? Chemicals. With those, patients with chemical sensitivities are those with a high toxic burden, such as leaky gut patients. See? They're telling you right there. This appears to be the most common base used in Australia. This is an Australian site. But check this out. Less patient satisfaction with troches because these bitter-tasting hormones need to be held in the mouth for about 30 minutes before they totally dissolve. They have you suck on them. And some troches are little pellets that you can stuff in an incision in your butt right here. The doctor does it, not you. So surprisingly, some compounding chemists are using aspartame, an artificial sweetener, to mask the bitter taste of these hormones. However, it has been identified as a possible neurotoxin that can cause brain damage. And that's in your Diet Coke, and that's in your gum, and that's in your breath mints, and that's in your toothpaste. Interesting. So next, thyroid panels. I hear this all the time. What about my thyroid panels and unending blood tests? These lab values are derived from sick people. I just want you to know that. It is a needle in a haystack testing. Like we talked about before, 12 hormones off 1 month will be just right the next month, since little attention is given to the factors mentioned at the beginning of this presentation. The food, the sleep, the lifestyle activities or lack thereof, the medications. See, if you're on 4 or 5 medications, you take a blood lab, what are you looking at? Medications. And if you're eating crappy food, guess what else I'm looking at? Crappy food. Your results are screwed from before you even look at them. You just spent $300 to go get your blood pulled, and now I'm looking at a page of crappy food and crappy drugs. So who's going to tell what to do with you? Show me a scientific research paper that shows what to do, right? It's shot in the dark. It's a total shot in the dark. And I know I'm going to, anger a lot of functional medicine people out there. I do functional medicine, but this is functional. This is not pathological medicine. This is functional medicine. Ladies, think about this. Your nieces and your daughters, birth control pills, rings, IUDs, intrauterine devices. This is a controlled daily menopause. Let that sink in. There's daily menopause that there is controlled. It is sad because you see so many people do birth control pills and they don't know. They just go to the doctor because of pain or bleeding or, it's not because they want to sleep around a lot of times, but that gives them sort of kind of license to. I think we would all agree on that. But sometimes they just go because they're bleeding or they're in pain and the doctor just, here, birth control pills, goes on for 10, 12 years. What happens when they want to come off them and try to get pregnant? Hello. So it's a controlled daily menopause that can last a lifetime, can last a long time. Now, here, these last ones, I want you to see this. IV therapy, I think Jonathan's got these pulled up. Bioidentical hormones, I want you to really understand some of this. And injections, I want you to get this. IV therapy and injections are different. I want you to see this. I want you to pull up those last 3 websites because I want you to see this is all from the same practice, and I'm not poking fun at a practice. I'm showing you like this is literally what's out there. There are thousands of these places, and I want you to see what this is. Let me know when we got this here. Things to consider, though, I want you to really think about. How many testimonials are on your doctor's website or in your doctor's office? And you should ask yourself how you're actually doing with your thyroid medication when you've been on it for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Are you getting better? Is your body healing? Ask yourself, despite your perfect blood labs, why do you still feel miserable? You all know people. I see heads nodding all over the place. You go to these doctors for years and years and years to get your blood labs perfectly dialed in, and you still feel like crap. On paper, you look great, but your body's falling apart, and you don't know why, right? How much gender confusion is a result of tampering with human hormones? Ask yourself these questions. Think about it. Because we are in an epidemic. There are people who don't know which bathroom to pee in. It's ridiculous. Let's get this figured out. So your children now have access to whatever hormones they feel they need. I'll say that again. Your children now have access to whatever hormones they feel they need. The transgender therapies and surgeries make regular use of hormone therapy. Understand that. They get people ready for these surgeries for weeks and months at a time. Are we still live?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, we had it up there. Where'd it go? I want you to see, just understand what is out there. Let me know when you're there. Let me know.
There it is.
Sure. Okay, let's just run through this real quick and we'll finish off with a commercial break. You probably can't see that. Well, you could blow it up a little bit, I guess. Check this out. This is mind-blowing. Now, this is a place outside of Miami. It's called Health Gains. I'm not punching anybody in the face. I'm just showing you what's out there advertised. Only 1 in 10 adults in the United States eats the number of fruits and vegetables needed to meet federal recommendations, reports the Centers to Control Disease, right? So this means that the other 9 individuals may not be receiving enough vitamins, minerals, and amino acids to help them become the healthiest versions of themselves. There are solutions to help individuals looking to consume more fruits and vegetables. IV therapy with Health Gains is a safe and effective way to receive the nutrients you need to stay healthy, energetic, and youthful. I've had patients like this, where they went and paid a buttload of money to have IV nutraceuticals injected into their bodies, past their digestive system, directly into their blood. How does it work? We use an IV drip to deliver nutrients directly to the bloodstream. It bypasses the digestive system. Great idea. Horrible idea. Where oral vitamins and supplements can be broken down, some people's digestive systems are unable, check this out, to fully absorb oral vitamins due to factors such as metabolism, genetics, the use of certain medications, and underlying medical conditions that interfere with digestion. IV vitamin therapy is one of the best ways to ensure you're receiving the maximum amount of nutrients possible despite any health or digestive challenges you may be facing. And then, okay, so you can go to the next one. So that's IV therapy. This is a big, like a functional medicine type place that tests. People fly in from all over the place in Miami, and they go and do regenerative medicine, shots, implants, all kinds of stuff. Bioidentical hormones. Don't ever let anyone lie to you about this, okay? I want you to read this and just see. I found this. It took me 5 minutes to find this online. There are thousands of places like this. They're man-made substances formulated from plant sources. They are made to replicate human growth hormone, HGH, which is a small protein made in the pituitary gland that acts on many tissues throughout the body. So they're man-made substances formulated from plant sources. What you should know. According to Harvard, human growth hormone stimulates cartilage and bone, boosts protein, supports fat, interferes with insulin's action, and much more. Bioidentical means that the chemical and molecular structure of human growth hormone is identical to the hormones that the human body makes. What's wrong with that sentence? Yes, actually. The makers of bioidentical hormones made from extracted chemicals from sources in nature then use them to create hormones that mimic the body's own hormones. The human body believes bioidentical hormones and the hormones it manufactures to be the same. What's the problem with that sentence? What's the problem with that sentence? That's a lie. Bioidentical hormones made from sources in nature can restore your hormone levels to where they were when you were younger and more energetic. They help your body with tasks such as brain function, growth, metabolizing food. What I'm saying is this. There is no such thing as bioidentical. There is no such thing as bioidentical. Look at the word, bioidentical. What can you think of that man has been able to create that is identical to what God created? Hear me when I say this. We cannot make a blade of grass. Humans, we can't even make rocks, people. You can't make a rock. How are you going to make a hormone? That's a lie. It says it right there. It tells, scroll up a little bit. Where was it? Right here. Made from extract, then use them to create hormones that mimic the body's own hormones. The chemical structure is identical to the hormones that the human body makes. It can't be. It just simply can't be. So when you hear someone say, oh, I'm on bioidentical hormones, don't beat them up about no, you're not. Just ask them, well, are you doing better? In which cases, if they're at the very beginning of their treatment, probably. They're probably going to be feeling something because what are they taking? It's a drug. How do I know? It's regulated. How do I know? You got to have a prescription. How do I know? You got to go to a place like this to get it. Or you can do something natural with plants and animals like what we do, save a whole lot of money. So that's your bioidentical hormones. Never let anyone tell you that they're identical to biology. They're not. They can't be. You just saw it right here. They said they take it out and then they mimic it. They make it close, but no cigar. We can't even make, and this is perfect to end on. Check this out. So this is a shot. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this, but this is a shot known as the Priapus shot to deliver lasting improvements in sexual performance to men, especially those who've lost function due to enlarged prostate cancer, the after effects of surgery, and other conditions such as diabetes. So things that could have been prevented, right? The treatment was named for the Greek god of virility. However, the P-shot's no myth. It's a modern medical procedure that can effectively treat erectile dysfunction. Unlike other erectile dysfunction treatments, this delivers long-lasting results you cannot achieve with pills, creams, or other treatment options. Basically what it is they're taking your own blood, spinning it down, and injecting back into you your protein-rich plasma with dermal fillers to enhance your undercarriage, fellas. So this is what's out there. This is what people are doing to change their hormones and to change. These are just 3 examples from this website. It's a massive website. Go up to the top of this place, the top of the site. Hormone therapy, sexual health. I don't want to advertise for these guys or anything, but this is, go to the sexual health one and just let it hover over it. I mean, look at that. Go over to the other one, to the left, hormone therapy. Look at all the options. Look at this. Peptide therapy, HRT for women, testosterone replacement therapy for men. They're just focusing on one hormone. That's like focusing on one vitamin or one mineral. You're never going to have just one mineral deficiency. They're gonna come in pairs or triplets because every mineral has another mineral that it's attached to, that they work in harmony and unison. You're never gonna just find isolated calcium or isolated magnesium in nature. It's never gonna happen. Same reason in your body that you'll never have just a single nutritional deficiency. Oh, I'm deficient in calcium. Yeah, you might be, and deficient in 5 or 10, 15, 20 other things, to be right, to be adequate. Does that make sense? So I wanted to expose a little bit of this to you, how easy it is to find things like this and how easy it is to poke holes in some of the things that just don't make any physiological sense. Now, we are done. Any questions before we break? Questions? Any Facebook stuff? Let's do final commercial break and let's get the meme out of here. Yay! Okay. Commercial break.
So this person says, I had blurred vision when driving at night. I would see stars when I would see the bright lights from cars and needed glasses. Same for me, actually. Now, I recently took a long trip at night and I forgot my glasses and noticed I had no trouble. The lights did not bother me. So you don't have to have glasses just because you've had them for years, or, your mom has glasses and your dad and your brother and your, aunt, uncle, everybody has glasses. You don't have to have them because your eyes can repair themselves.
Very good. And think about that. If you take a hormone, does it affect just one organ in your body or does it affect your whole body? Same thing. If you eat good food and take supplements, does it affect just one organ or does it affect your whole body? So I don't think we ever did anything for that patient to really focus on her eyes. She just got better. Her vision got better. Any other questions? We got freebies? Questions, thoughts, ideas, comments, cries of outrage? Anybody? Peggy. Huh, you show up and you win something. Look at that. Huh. And you, darling, sitting right behind Kathy. There you go. All right. Anything else? Going once, going twice. No Facebook stuff? Fabulous. Oh, yeah. Pass that out real quick. Do we got one more meme? Fabulous. Crying children. We're almost done. Wow. I got through that a lot faster than I thought. Here we go. Oh, yeah, the good old normal people. I never thought I'd see the day. Some say people who use oils are straight up weirdos. That's fine. If weird means healthy, whole, and protected, then yeah, I'm super freaking weird. Yeah, actually, yeah, I am weird. Always have been. Stop bragging that you got the shot. What do you want us to say? Congratulations, you glorified lab rat? That's a good one. I trust the science. It's pronounced Big Pharma. You do have to differentiate. Is it science or is it propaganda? Is it who paid for it? Yeah, where'd that flu go last year? Unbelievable, right? That's it. There you go. So next week is which doctors do what, and oh, please fill this out because fill this out in its entirety. Yeah, because we get a lot of info from this. It'll help us to understand. And there's no right or wrong answer. Just fill the stuff out. But anything else? Closing down.
Instagram, we have a giveaway.
Oh yeah. Follow us on Instagram. We have a giveaway. Do you want to say what the giveaway is?
T-shirt and Stress Away.
T-shirt and a 15 ml bottle of Stress Away. Sweet. Oh, and we got new shirts. Yes, everybody's been dying for the new shirts. We got the new shirts. A new batch of shirts. Oh yes. All right. So we are signing off. Thank you very much. Like us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Like us before they ban us. You were in the first crowd. So Dr. Brett Spradlin, Divine Design Natural Health. Thank you very much. We will see you next week. All right. Should we?